All right, guys, hello. We're just going to show you some push-ups today, and I don't know how many Joe's going to do, but while he's doing them, I'm going to tell you some stories and things, and if you want, I want to premise this work with this statement. This is the biggest contributor to punching power that there is push-ups and doing a variety of different types of push-ups. Now, it is not the only contributor. You need to have a strong core. You need to have strong legs. It all needs to be really worked on what you're doing, and you need to do a variety of different things. And if you don't, and you're lacking in some of these core principles in boxing, jump rope, road work, sit-ups, push-ups, pull-ups, even pulling action, you need a strong back. But this is the big thing. This is the big thing over and above and beyond anything that you can try to do to increase punching power. The second thing would be heavy bag work. Hitting something, not hitting a wall, not hitting a tree, but hitting a heavy bag. And heavy bag work contributes. Secondly, and there's a boatload of other things that you've seen on our channel that we do that increases punching power. So, but I don't care what newfangled anybody, la-di-da, whatever, nothing is as good as the old standard, the push-up. And they can harp to you that all this science today, it's amazing because 3/4 of the fighters, well, more than that, probably 85 to 90% of fighters, and probably closer to 90%, have a lot of trouble getting through the 12th round. If you go back and you look at the 60s, 70s, and 80s, you will see a boatload of fights that the reality of it is they were a lot more punches from both fighters, a lot more work, a lot more covering the ring and footwork and moving around footwork-wise, and they got through 15 rounds better than fighters today get through 12 rounds. And there is no way anyone can logically look at that and get past it and say that today they're going stronger and going better at 12 rounds, because they are not. And another thing missing today is backbone, grit, and gumption, and heart. And you're seeing countless people. Two fights I'll mention. One of them, Ryan Garcia. Billed is the guy. Everybody wants to go see this guy. He's got no heart for the boxing. Now I'm going to mention several issues actually with this as well. No heart, got punched in the face and got punched in the stomach, and quit being able to punch himself and rode out 10 or 12 rounds with Rolly Romero. And Rolly Romero is not a great fighter by no means. This 16-year-old young man you're looking at right here would mop the floor up with Rolly. Of course, he weighs a lot more than Rolly. Rolly's got man strength, but it wouldn't help him none. I don't know that Joe could go 10 rounds, but well, he wouldn't have to. He'd knock out that either one of these guys. He'd knock out. But he's heavier now. But he's just 16. You've seen the guy that's got the IBF heavyweight championship of the world. That guy gets punched in the eye and quits the fight. You see, and that's Daniel Dubois. Gets punched in the damn eye, and a few fights later, he's sitting there with the world belt. You seen when Tank Davis was fighting Garcia. Garcia got popped. He quit, and he quit. And there's no other way to look at this stuff. And you got to have the heart. I can see in some MMA, and I can see in bare knuckle fighting of real serious threats there where someone could really get killed easily. I can see throwing in a towel in one of those two venues, but not boxing. You need to go out on your shield. You don't just quit and mess. And the reality of the fact is, I can't think of any fights in the 60s and the 70s that I saw where anybody quit. Not in the heavyweight division. I'm sure they were out there, but they were so sparse. I don't even have anything committed to memory. Now, I'm not talking about your corner throwing in a towel. I'm talking about where the fighter actually quits. And that's because no one has discipline today. Everybody's being mommified and codified. And it's no good what's going on in this world today. It's being codified, mommified, and effeminized. And there's no goodness that comes out of that. No goodness at all. And I will give you an example of the feminization of society. Back when I was a kid, back when I was a teen, back when I was a younger adult, back when I was 30-ish, 40-ish, African American, and I mean African as in North American, males dominated boxing. We dominated it. Well, don't say we. I'm not African American, but I am an American. And African Americans were some bad dudes. Not today. If you want to talk about a group of people that have been feminized, it would be them. African Americans used to dominate boxing. The U.S. had the market cornered in boxing. There was us, and then there was simply everybody else. And everybody else combined were not as good as our fighters. And we had some white ones and maybe some Mexican ones, some Puerto Ricans strung through there, but it was mainly African Americans. And you look at the situation today in the United States, you got a lot of acting tough, but you don't have tough. Got a lot of an effeminate behavior. So many black men are wandering around acting like vicious, emotionally out of control black mothers or black women. And you can hate me for saying this, but it is the truth. And this is what's going on. It's nothing socioeconomic. People were worse off back then. I know. I lived it. And I want to tell you something. My generation, a lot of us, including myself, I want to tell you, you young people today, you out here, you eating McDonald's, you eating Burger King, you getting all this, pizzas and all this stuff. It's not a lack of food going around. Now, I'm speaking in U.S. terms here right now. I hope y'all understand that. Let me tell you, pissant something. Those of you who are walking around, you got a yes trainer, you got a yes guys at the gym around you, and you think you're this and you think you're that. Half of you, probably the majority of you, probably 99% of you, me fighting at 135, 145, 155 would have knocked your ass out cold. And there wouldn't have been a lot going into it. And I'm saying it that way, a lot of you bigger guys today. You got all this science, you got all these yes people around you. And now if you're really offended here with what I'm saying, you're one of the people that need to hear it. If you ain't one of the people I'm talking about. So don't get your panties in an uproar and don't start ripping your pantyhose. But I'm telling you, half of us grew up on mayonnaise sandwiches, Jack. It wasn't a good world. It was a better world, but it wasn't a cushy world. It wasn't a sweet little precious world that most of you punks are in today. And it was a hard, grueling man's world. And the African American community literally owned, they still own some sports. And the U.S. does in general. I'll lump the white guys in there with it in all of this. But the fact is, I'm talking about the African Americans in the U.S. because we owned boxing. And we don't own anything today but big, fat mouths and a lot of feminine emotions that when force comes to bear over us, we quit. Just watch all these YouTube cop videos. That tells the tale. It's a tough guy yelling, screaming, and then when the big dogs come up on them, they fold like a little puppy. Because they're effeminate. They're cushy. Might have muscles that look real good, but that ain't never won nothing. And never will. And it's just a different world today. So when I'm on old school, I mean it. I mean it. I'm upset with Boxing USA, which is a joke, a literal joke. No, you ain't telling the truth. Why, of course I'm telling the truth. The evidence is behind me. Can't win an Olympic medal. Can't fare well when we get on an airplane, or another country gets on an airplane and comes and fights U.S. people. We're awful. We are awful. And we're getting good. We pat ourselves on the back, and they want to give us brownies in Boxing USA when we beat Luxembourg 5-2 or whatever. Whatever. And when we should be beating everybody like we used to. It's a bad year when we bring home, a bad Olympics for us when we bring home 4 gold medals. And now we can't even bring home a bronze medal. So for those of you that think I'm blowing hot wind, I actually, for 2 years before this past Olympics, spelled out for everybody and spelled out to Boxing USA exactly what was going to happen, and exactly what I said was going to happen happened. Did it take rocket science to figure it out? No, it did not. Did it take a lot of psychology to figure it out, or psychiatry? No, it did not. I just see a lot of effeminate behavior, and boy, it showed. It showed. And if we continue down the same route, it'll continue to show. So that's all I'm saying. Now, I know what I see, and I'm an old man, and I've seen more than most of you have seen. And I've lived more than most of you have lived. And when I sit here and tell you, and I don't know what weight he's going to settle at, but the guy you're looking at on the camera is going to be a world champion. And if you get the promoters out of the way, he'll be an undisputed. Because there ain't going to be nobody that's going to be able to stand up to it. And of course, what you see and what you're looking at in the rose-colored world of today, through your oversized, rabbity-looking glasses, ain't going to be reality. And I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm telling you, we're going to show you. This world today is, I'm fortunate. I'm able to feed my son Joe here a lot better than I was able to eat even. Where I grew up, I had a real mother. She worked 16 hours a day, double shifting it at a truck stop for years to make sure that I even had a roof over my head and even had mayonnaise sandwiches to put in my mouth. And then when I was able to where I could scramble some eggs, I ate egg sandwiches all the time. And boy, I was so happy, and it was so glorious that I was able to do that. And you guys today sitting here getting pissed off, texting from room, your mama and your daddy from room to room, too lazy to get up and walk and tell them what's going on, or getting upset because your Pizza Hut order ain't right. And then you wonder why you can't knock somebody out, or can't do this or can't do that. Half-assed go to school and think you're gonna, not out here being a big bold criminal, but out here being a weasel and think you're gonna get somewhere. And to you street thug guys out there, you ain't nothing. You're just a loser. You're just an effeminate loser. Plunge a knife in somebody's back or shoot somebody in a drive-by. You ain't a damn man. Everybody's, why is he talking like it? You know why I talk like this? Because people need to hear it. People need to hear it. We're not in the USA right now. Those of you that regularly watch know that. But you get up, you look on YouTube, you look online, and you see all this trash going on in this world, and people can't even be man enough to go up to somebody and have a fair fight, face to face, one on one. And I would only love for one of you candy asses to come up and try to throw a sucker punch on this guy here. It wouldn't work out too well for you. You'd get your face smashed. But then again, you guys that do things like that go up and down the street sucker punching people, you in his presence, you'd say, nah, not him, because you're effeminate. And he's not. He's masculine. And I'm so glad. And he don't eat Domino's and Pizza Hut and Burger King and McDonald's. He's sitting down eating meat and eating chicken. And I thank the Lord every day I can provide him clean food. He sits around and drinks water, not sodas. And if you have a kid, that's what you need to do with your children. No more of this candy ass mess. This is insane what's going on in this world. What you got, son? 280. All right, so he's got 280. Well, yeah, it's all right. You just do what you want to do. Do it in the time you want to do it in. Don't worry about it. Get all, they feminized young men and then start poking at the young men's and ladies' emotions. And this is the reason why you have a lot of this racial stuff and things like that. Now, I've seen on the news, they're killing the white farmers in South Africa. And just look at the news people. Can you believe? You can't believe the news. Look at these people. You need to get your news from a real man. You don't need to get your news from effeminate people on CNN, MSNBC, even Fox News or ABC or CBS. You ain't going to get the real news there. And yet they got you so dumbed down, you sit and you read all this stuff, and all you have to do, young people, is crack a Bible open, realize evil from good, and it'll tell the tale, because all these Fruit Loops and candy asses are going to stand for evil on every single issue. And you look, and they're condoning killing farmers in South Africa. You look, and they're condoning drugs in the streets for you. You look, and they're condoning that they want your education to be as horrible as it can dang well be. You look, and they want a clinic on every corner that you have as less children as you can possibly have, so that when you're old, and whatever children you do have are uneducated and don't have the ability to take care of you, and then you're forced into a home where they can control every move you make. Maybe get rid of you sooner, see, because they hate life. And as fallible and as imperfect as we are in here, we know Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And everything else is death and destruction, feminization, and mayhem. So while you, little wannabe boxer, little wannabe MMA guy, little wannabe bare knuckle guy, are out here playing around, drinking, doing dope, he's working. And there's no way you will ever be able to beat the work he's producing or the what will be produced by his work with your cowardice and your inability to have a strong heart and a strong backbone to do the right things. So yes, when you come over here and you look at us, that's why we don't get a lot of views. People don't want to hear the truth, and that's the actuality of it. And when the truth is given, they want it in with candy. And I'm not going to give it to anybody. I'm damn well not going to give it. And so that's why we're not so well liked by the online community, because everybody wants to see funny stuff. Everything's funny, ha ha. How much you got? 360. You gonna go for 500? You've put a lot of work in this week so far, so I wouldn't sit here and try to do 1,000 or nothing. A 1,000, you dare say? Yes, Joe. I'll sit and do 1,000 of these in an hour, 2 or 3 times a month, maybe more. So if you're going into the gym and you're doing 25 push-ups with the guys, and you're doing 3 minutes of jump rope with the guys, and you're doing 15, 20 minutes bag work with the guys, and you're sparring 2 or 3 rounds, 2 or 3 times a week with the guys, you ain't nowhere doing enough to. You're going to be playing catch-up ball to us all day long. All day long. And you people that have boxing gyms in the United States today, they do this in the UK. They do this in England. That's why they own boxing. England owns boxing. And don't you ever forget it and believe it, because it is factual truth. And it's because you in the U.S., Mr. Boxing Trainer or Mr. Boxing Gym Owner, you need to be separating the guys that you know that really want it from the rest of the mediocre in your gym, and you need to give more individualized attention to those guys, and you're lucky if you got one of them come in your gym and grace you with their presence once a year. Once a year. And the rest of it, you just playing catch-up ball to what's going on around here. Well, your ego is just right. Ego ain't got nothing to do with it. Like Ali said, it ain't nothing around here. Ain't nothing bragging if you can back it up. And sitting there going, oh, Jeffrey, you need to do more push-ups. Make Jeffrey's ass get down and do more push-ups. Or run him off. Or have a fat boxing gym, a fat loss boxing gym, and go that route. Or, little Jeffrey that you can't push, that's coming in there, needs to pay for John that's coming in there that is pushing himself that you can push, that you can motivate, and focus on John more. And if John can't afford to pay your dues, why don't you have a little bit of class about yourself and work with John for free, because he's the guy that's working the hardest and wants it the most. And you gym owners in the United States are not helping the youth out as the way that we used to do it. It's beyond you. You're too greedy. You ain't got no backbone, you damn self. Ain't got no moral clarity yourself. You're the problem. These kids ain't the problem. It's the adults that are working with the kids that are the problem. It's the parents, not the kids, that are the problem. It's the teachers and the principal and other workers down there at the schoolhouse that are the problem, not the kids. There are some problem kids. Used to be, you'd get a kid off the streets with boxing. Today, they're selling dope outside the boxing gym. You fools. And I don't care, I'm telling the truth. If this ain't your gym, don't you just worry about what I'm saying. Why don't you put a damn video up telling the truth as well? And don't get offended by it. If this message ain't for you, don't sweat it none. Don't get all effeminate on me. And don't let it hurt your feelings. A lot of stuff we don't put up with here. I don't like gamers on our channel. They come and say the most ridiculous stuff. I don't even respond to them no more. I just hit the hide button and hide them from the channel. That I don't like gamers? No, it just happens to be that a lot of them come over and they're little nerds and they want to make little funnies because they're big, strong guys behind a computer. And I don't cotton to none of that, so I don't have them around. I hide them where they can't post or nothing on all the social media that we do. You know, y'all want to sit and look at, somebody getting down on a reflex or a heavy bag or pad. Well, we don't even half-ass do pad work. Pad work we do, we don't even put videos up anymore because none of you'd understand it. Because you have no idea what real pad work has ever even really been anyway. And pad work's a relatively new thing that is the least beneficial on the totem pole for a fighter in the scheme of things. That's another truth I'm going to tell. So be sure of it. You come around here, you ain't going to get a lot of candy. Look on, it's just everything, guys. If you are a young fella or a young gal, everything you're seeing is a bunch of bunk. Everything, all of it. All of it. You can even pull up professional wrestling out of it, which is really professional acting and acrobats. But used to be great athletes. These guys really used to be big, heavy guys. Now they're all muscular and flying and zipping across the ring. These guys would go 340 days a year being in a different area of the country or in the world. And now these guys, you only got one thing thanks to that miscreant Vince McMahon and WWE junk. And so it's about everything you're seeing, they got effeminate, pretty people on it. And even, literally the best, probably, I think Bud Crawford is probably our best pound for pound fighter in the United States. That's my opinion. When you start lining that up, a lot of people are thinking Tank Davis is. And I wouldn't doubt that. And I like Tank. But if I was around Tank, I'd tell him, little man, get your ass screwed on. the top of your neck straight, because you ain't thinking clearly. You out here getting in trouble. Damnedest thing, you want to talk about dumb, that'd be Tank Davis. You know, oh, I've got these millions of dollars, so what do I want to do? I want to continue to have street thug life in Baltimore. Can't even, too stupid to even pull himself up out of it. And Tank, if you ever see this, I love you, and I don't mean to be hating on you saying this, but you need somebody in your life that's going to buckle up on you and get you straight. And if not, there's going to come a day your little ass is going to be in those streets, but it ain't going to be by your choice. It's going to be because you don't have a home to live in. You know, it's time to grow up, son. Time to grow up. And you got all these adults and all these parasites sucking blood out of him, and you ain't got nobody around him to buckle. The guy's 5'7" or 5. He's not a huge guy. You know, you would think that a real man would be in his life or be there somewhere and say, son, get it together. Get your mess together. Because he's not a bad-hearted individual. He's not a bad guy. He's just caught up in that junk. You fixing to, when you go, I'll get in front and let you out here. Carmen's got to go up to the schoolhouse for some PTA junk. That's another thing they won't let the teachers. Yeah, you know, you need a paddle. You need corporal punishment in the school. They need to start bending your ass over at a young age and whacking you with that paddle boards like they used to. What you got? 500. 500? All right, so he got 500. Look, I'm venting today. I'm old, and yeah, you know, some of these days I start venting, and I'll continue to do so. How about that? I'm terribly disappointed in what is going on with the youth today in the United States. We can't even, boxing is not even going after and trying to help the kids that are on the street today. Not like it used to. Not like it used to. We used to turn so many lives around, and not today. So, you, Mr. Trainer, you think you somebody, you want to be somebody, get out there in those streets, get out there and start helping these kids more. Everybody, I love you. If you saw this and you got upset about it, you needed to be upset about it. If this message wasn't for you, and then it wasn't for you. So don't get all upset and emotional about it. In all our imperfectness up in here, Christ is King, Lord, and Savior. We love you guys. As the weekend approaches, we hope you have a good Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we'll have another video up for you tomorrow.